right, good Wednesday afternoon, everyone. Thanks for stopping by for a check of your forecast. Hope everyone's doing well today. It is a warm one out there in the high plains. We are in the 70s for most of the panhandle as well as eastern New Mexico. 67 in Clayton, 72 in Canadian, and 68 there in Perryton. It has been a very warm afternoon, and we are starting to see those winds really become more of a nuisance, especially in the western half of the area. You can see that wind sustained around 30 miles an hour there in Boise City, up in Cimarron County. Also dealing with some relatively breezy winds in Union County as well. They actually have a wind advisory there, which will be in effect until 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. So we are expecting those winds to remain an issue through tonight. And we'll eventually see some breezy winds tomorrow as well across at least a portion of the area. The wind and the warmer weather is going to be the main theme after this brief cool down with the cold front. But you can see that we've got some breezy conditions there in text line right there near Clayton, New Mexico. Tree limbs shaking around a little bit, probably seeing some winds gusting to around 25, 30 miles an hour for the most part. For tomorrow, we're going to have a more seasonal day. Now, we're not going to be right at average. Our normal high is 51. I'll show you what those high temperatures look like. We still expect us to be in the mid to high 50s for most of the area. So we'll still be above average for our highs. Not as bad as it is today, though. I mean, we're 20 degrees warmer than normal this afternoon. And then we'll continue with that theme into the week of Christmas. Joe Nichols is going to be really excited to know that it'll be sunny and 75 most of next week here. But we'll start off around freezing tomorrow night, and then we'll get back up into the 60s and 70s again on Friday. Let's go ahead and break down this computer model for the next 2 days. There's that cold front that'll ease on through. By 6, 7 a.m., it's going to be cleared across most of the area. As we get into the afternoon, you can see those temperatures trying to come back up into the mid 50s. Notice the ridge of high pressure. We are expecting the winds to probably slack off briefly when this ridge moves overhead, but we got another surface trough that just kind of gets set up right there off the front range of the Rockies on Friday. And so we are expecting those winds to ramp back up Friday afternoon. They'll just be more out of the southwest and the north, and they're going to bring in some warmer temperatures. It's a downslope wind, so that's going to keep temperatures very mild. This is 3 o'clock in the afternoon. A lot of us in the upper 60s, low 70s. Modeling usually doesn't do as great a job with this drier air. That's why we're in the 70s right now, even though models only suggested we'd get into the 60s today. So that dry air and that southwest wind, usually models have a hard time kind of picking up just how hot it's going to get for the daytime high temperature. But it is going to be warm regardless. Let's go ahead and show you what those wind gusts will look like after the cold front. So this is moving into Thursday afternoon. This is lunchtime. Notice again, we've got that circulation of high pressure where the ridge is at. Winds will be fairly calm, but as you get outside of this thing, especially as you get up into Kansas and especially Nebraska, closer to that big trough that sweeps across the Midwest, that's really where the big wind gusts of 50, 60 mile an hour winds are expected to be more widespread and common. For us, I think we'll be more in that 30 to 40 gusting range, especially in the eastern half of the area. As we get into Friday, you'll see those winds shift to the other direction from the southwest. They won't be quite as strong, but they're still going to be at a nuisance level. And that tied in with the warm weather and the dry air, we'll probably have some elevated fire conditions area wide, maybe even some patchy critical fire concerns, especially since we haven't seen much moisture as of late. And again, those temperatures are going to be well above normal on Friday. So here's what some of those forecast temperatures are for Friday afternoon. And then you also have the record for that year for in the year as well. Amarillo, we are expecting to reach 74 on Friday. The current record is 72, so we will probably kick that one to the curb. Borger, Dalhart expected to tie or break a record. Probably going to break a record in Clovis and Clayton as well. There's a couple of locations that may not get there. Goodwell only expected to hit 70, but again, if we can get up to 72, which is doable, it definitely looks like you could maybe set a record as well. Childress, you guys may stay away from your record high at 75 degrees. Currently, modeling only having you get up to about 68, 69 for that high temperature. And that's really the theme moving into next week. We'll get to your ensembles here in just a second. But I mean, just look at that temperature trend through the next 7 days. Those orange lines you see, that's your average high and your average low. And so we're going to be well above that moving into next week. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this over so you guys can see. This is the European ensemble, and just in the 2 meter temperature trend. You can see we've got some colder weather tomorrow. Again, those temperatures probably only in the 50s. And then we've got some warmer weather on Friday and Saturday before another cool day on Sunday. But look at this. I mean, you've got Monday here, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I mean, the entire week next week is going to be just not unprecedented heat, but it is going to be very warm. So we are expecting probably some borderline record setting temperatures with that as well. Especially Christmas Day. I mean, you can see some of these numbers on here getting up into the higher 70s. I mean, we might even get close to 80 degrees for a high temperature. Now, notice as we kind of get out way into the outlook, there's a little bit more consistency with the temperature trend, and that just has to do with maybe the potential for another system to sneak into the desert southwest. I'm going to show you what the GFS also kind of shows. It's a little bit more potent with some of that colder air immediately following that 5-day hot weather stretch that we have for next week. Whether or not this comes to fruition or not is something that we'll just have to kind of keep in mind. This is just the precipitation associated with that storm system that will bring the colder weather. Again, it's not a guarantee. It's certainly not set in stone. Models are very much in, they're still trying to figure out just how potent some of that colder air could be, or at least how big that cool down will be behind the stretch of warm weather. Models not set in stone either on precipitation. If we just kind of take a gander or a peek at some of the snow potential, not many of them suggesting winter weather is a possibility. So we may not get cold enough for that anyway, even if we do see that big drop in temperatures. But that would potentially be our next big shift in the weather pattern, is maybe getting some kind of upper level low or cutoff low to sneak out of the desert southwest and into the high plains. So I'll go ahead and just kind of show you. Don't take this for gospel truth. Again, this is just a single model output run, so it certainly is going to vary from run to run. But you can see there's that big trough sweeping across the Midwest as we get into Thursday and Friday, and then that ridge sets up to dominate the forecast for the week of Christmas. Now, as we get past Christmas, you can see that semi-permanent trough that's just living off the west coast. That's what's bringing in all the rain and all the snow there in parts of the Northwest, Northern California. The Sierra Nevada is going to see probably quite a bit of snow next week for Christmas. So you guys, if you want a white Christmas, head out there to the Sierra Nevadas up towards Reno. Probably will see quite a bit of snow. It may not get out of there with as much snow as they're going to have. But as we get into probably that 27th and 28th, you can see this is just one model run. Again, don't take it for gospel truth, but you can see that maybe we start to get a little bit of some west to east progression of the ridge and the trough. And if we do get something to maybe sneak on through, that would be potentially the next thing to keep an eye on for us here in the high plains. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that 7-day tracker. A lot of sunshine for now. Don't get your hopes up on moisture anytime soon. We are going to be windy tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday, or at least breezy. And we've got, again, probably near record heat, if not record-setting heat on Friday and Saturday. Probably going to happen again on Monday. And then we've got some really high records on Tuesday and Wednesday next week. But with that west-southwest wind, certainly not impossible for us to get into the low 80s briefly. That was a really hot stretch of days there back in 1955, 3 days in a row where we set that daily record high. We may make a run for that on next week on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and potentially Thursday and Friday as well. That's all I've got for you guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Don't forget to hit